Good day. I am Cheryl Manuel, and my report for today is all about the presentation and analysis of data, making logical, intelligent analysis of data collected. For today's agenda, number one, the definition of data collection. Number two, what do we mean by collecting and analyzing data? Number three, two kinds of data. Number four, what to do with the collected data. And number five, how to collect and analyze data. Okay, let's begin. Are you ready? Definition of data collection. Data collection is defined as the procedure of collecting, measuring, and analyzing accurate insights for research using standard validated techniques. A researcher can evaluate their hypothesis on the basis of collected data. In most cases, data collection is the primary and most important step for research. The approach of data collection is different for different fields of study, depending on the required information. Next is, what do we mean by collecting data? Essentially, collecting data means putting your design for collecting information into operation. You've decided how you're going to get information, whether by direct observation, interviews, surveys, experiments, and testing, or other methods. And now, you and or other observers have to implement your plan. The way you collect your data should relate to how you are planning to analyze and use it, regardless of what method you decide to use. Recording would be done concurrent with data collection if possible, or soon afterwards so that nothing gets lost and memory doesn't fade. Next one is, what do we mean by analyzing data? Analyzing information involves examining it in ways that reveal the relationships, patterns, trends that can be found within it. That may mean subjecting it to statistical operations that can tell you not only what kinds of relationships seem to exist among variables, but also to what level you can trust the answers you're getting. It may mean comparing your information to that from other groups to help draw some conclusions from that data. The point, in terms of your evaluation, is to get an accurate assessment in order to better understand your work and its effect on those you're concerned with, or in order to better understand the overall situation. There are two kinds of data, the quantitative data and the qualitative data. What is qualitative or quantitative data? Quantitative data refer to the information that is collected as or can be translated into numbers, which can then be displayed and analyzed. Next is, what is qualitative data? Qualitative data are collected as descriptions, anecdotes, opinions, quotes, interpretations, and are generally either not able to be reduced the numbers or are considered more valuable or informative if left as narratives. As you might expect, quantitative and qualitative information needs to be analyzed differently. What to do with the collected data? Number one is gather. Gather together the information from all sources and observation. Next is copy. Make photocopies of all recordings, audio or video recordings, and any other collected materials to guard against loss, accidental erasure, or other platforms. The next one is enter. Enter narratives, numbers, and other information into a computer program where they can be arranged and or worked on a various ways. The next one is the operations. Perform any mathematical or similar operations needed to get quantitative information ready for analyze. Next one is transcribe. Transcribe, make an exact word-for-word text version of the contents of audio or video recordings. The next one is the coding data. Translate data, particularly qualitative data that isn't expressed in numbers into a form that allows it to be processed by a specific software program or subjected to statistical analysis. And the last one is the organize. Organize data in ways that make them easier to work with. How do you do this will depend on your research design and your evaluation. How to collect and analyze data. Implement your measurement system. First is clearly define and describe what measurements or observations are needed. Second, select and train observers. Third, conduct observations at the appropriate times for the appropriate period of time. And the last one is record data in the agreed upon ways. Next is how to collect and analyze data. Organize the data you've collected. First, enter any necessary data into the computer. Second, transcribe any audio or video tapes. Third, score any test and record the scores appropriately. Fourth, sort your information in ways appropriate to your interests. And the last one is, when possible, necessary and appropriate, transform qualitative into quantitative data. How to collect and analyze data. Conduct data graphing, visual inspection, statistical analysis, or other operations on the data as appropriate. Other excellent possibilities for analysis besides statistical procedures. First, simple counting, graphing, and visual inspection of frequency or rates of behavior events over time. Second, using visual inspection of patterns over time to identify discontinuities in the measures over time. Third, calculating the mean or the average, the median or the midpoint, and or mode or the most frequent of a series of measurements or observations. Fourth, using qualitative interviews, observations, and participant observation to observe the people or situation. The fifth, finding patterns in qualitative data. And the last one is comparing actual results to previously determined goals or benchmarks. How to collect and analyze data. Take note of any significant or interesting results. Different kinds of results you might be looking for. First is the differences within people or groupings. Next is differences between or among two or more groups. Results that show statistically significant changes, correlations, patterns, and obvious important findings. How to collect and analyze data? Interpret the results. Your program had exactly the effects on the dependent variables you expected and hoped it would. Your program had no effect. Your program had a negative effect. Your program had the effects you hoped for and other effects as well. These effects might be positive, might be neutral, might be negative, or might be multiple or mixed. In summary, the heart of evaluation research is gathering information about the program or intervention you're evaluating and analyzing it to determine what it tells you about the effectiveness of what you are doing, as well as about how you can maintain and improve that effectiveness. Once you've gained the knowledge that your information provides, it's time to start the process again. Use what you've learned to continue to evaluate what you do by collecting and analyzing data and continually improve your program. So that is the end of my report. Thank you and have a great day ahead.